I'd be like, I don't care, bye. Or you can't even come in here, bye. And so now that's making me more like resilient towards keeping that standard in general. Yeah.
You see, sometimes people aren't going to listen to what you say to them. They just want the attention from you. And then sometimes it's not that they want the attention from you, is that they're being used by the enemy to drain you. So when it comes to ministry, you really have to set your boundaries when it comes to being with people and spending time with people. I told one young lady, she was around me all the time, and then she went out of town, and I saw the stuff that she was doing on Facebook out of town. I said, we finished. Because if you could be around me every day like this, and you can't carry yourself better than that, that means I'm not effective in your life. That spot needs to be with somebody else and not you. And I meant it. It was cut off, because you can't be with me every day and still go act like that. That means I ain't making no change in your life. You know what I'm saying? So you really, because as ministers, and when I say ministers, I'm not talking about ordained ministers. I'm talking about ambassadors. It is our job to minister. It is our job to try to help others. It is our job to lead others to Christ. So we try very hard to do that in every situation. But sometimes we don't realize that we are hurting the majority because of the one. I know Jesus left the 99 and went after the one. But what you got to understand is, we ain't Jesus. And when he left the 99 to go after the one, he still was with the 99 anyway, because he's omnipresent. We not. We are a finite spirit. Okay? So even like people will get upset with you. I remember I was at the singles retreat last month, and God had just gave me, downloaded a lesson that I had to teach. So I had less than 30 minutes to type this lesson up and make a PowerPoint. And someone came to me and was like, Apostle, can I talk to you? And I was like, like, in my head. And because I'm on the computer like, can I talk to you? Huh? Can I talk to you for a minute? No, baby. I'm trying to finish my lessons. But usually I stop whatever I'm doing and talk to people. That's my norm. But in teaching boundaries, I'm learning boundaries. And so I had to say, I got to finish this lesson. I can't take time to talk to you, and then I got 30-something other people here that's not going to get what God has for them because I talk to you. You understand? All right, we'll start with Miss Christian, but she raised her hand, so I had to come over. In ministry, how have you seen a place where you needed to enforce boundaries and you were able to do it?
So family members, even with Ethan's father, you have to say no, and you have to see who's draining you. And when you see who's draining you, you have to step back.
Yes.
And you have to let the person know what they're doing.
Yeah, don't just step back. You got to let them know.
You got to let them know.
I'm going to step back because. Because, see, otherwise, what makes you different from the world? If you just cut them off, people used to the world just cutting people off, just dropping them. You know what I'm saying? But that's not us. That's not supposed to be us. So if you care about people, and you should, then you should be able to say, I'm going to step back, because at this point, I give you a lot of time, and I try to give you a lot of advice, and you don't take any of it. And it feels like you're just draining me for time and attention, but you're not taking anything I say seriously. I could be giving that to somebody else that's going to do something with it.
Amen. And the person will also say, well, you're going to church Monday Monday to,
Oh, I
every-
heard it. Yeah. Mhm.
So,
My family say the same thing.
and you have to let them know that you have been called. I have been called to do this, and I've been doing this basically all my life. So, I don't know.
Well, maybe if you went to church Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday,
Absolutely.
you wouldn't be where you at right now.
And it's easy to say if they don't go to church.
Yeah. Yeah. But I got family that go to church and still say, y'all don't never leave that place. Y'all don't never leave that place. And I'm like, I leave every chance I get. But when I'm supposed to be there, I'm there. Because when he's supposed to be there for me, he there. He there. He there. Why you got to be there all the time? Because he always there for me. That's your answer. He always there for me. You not. But he is.
For me, it's not carrying the weight or burden of other people's issues onto myself. Because I am very wise
yeah.
and I'm there for people. I have a big heart. But I learned that people are sent to drain me. And by the time a teen needs me or I have to take care of myself or my own priorities.
The ones you're called to.
Exactly. I'm depleted. And
From the
then
grown ones.
you're not taking my advice serious because you're going and asking other people who are telling you the same exact thing.
draining everybody.
I'm telling you. So you're not wasting my time, but I could be pouring into somebody else.
And always wasting my time.
Yeah, that sounds so mean. But
And it's mean that what they doing.
it is because it's not fair to me when I'm taking the time to pour into you and you're not taking it serious when there's teens on my phone or other people on my phone who need me, like who really need me, but I can't give them what they need because you done depleted me and I allowed you to. So.
And you have to watch because what happens is they will make you give up on ministry because they will make you feel like you are ineffective in ministry. And it's not that you're ineffective. It's that they're really not trying to do what they need to do. They want to take up your time. Now, that big heart thing, y'all, who. Yeah, listen, these two had to come in my room several times during the retreat. Jay and Miracle, because their hearts was like this. And everybody that came to them, they was like, but if I was out, wait, hold up. Pull back. Big picture. Everything people say ain't what it is. Big picture. You know what I'm saying? Because we do want the best. When you're an ambassador for Christ, you really do want the best for everybody. You really do. Everybody not like that. But when you are truly an ambassador for Christ, you want the best for everybody. Even if I can't give it to you, I want to point you in the right direction of where you can get it. Now, I'm not going to take any more questions until the end because we're going to get through at least half this lesson. Boundaries. What you allow will continue. So we need to practice healthy boundaries. Psalms 147:14. He keeps the peace at your borders, your boundaries. He puts the best bread on your tables. Okay? What are boundaries? Boundaries define our God-given authority. Without boundaries, we reject God's gift of free will and live like victims. Yes, sir, Bob. Free will is a gift that God has given to us, and he himself will not take it from us. So why do we let humans do it? Boundaries are limits a person sets based on what they consider acceptable, comfortable, and appropriate. Now, the word comfortable. Pastor Rob just said the person needed help, and I was laying on my couch watching TV. So for him to have to get up would have been uncomfortable. Wow, wait. So wait, he could help somebody and didn't do it, and he a pastor? But we need rest too. We need rest too. And so if we run when everybody needs us, we won't have enough energy. I'm sorry, let me correct myself. If we run when everybody wants us, we won't have enough energy for those who need us. Bam, that's a bar. Boundaries help people maintain and navigate relationships. Maintain. Boundaries help you keep relationships and navigate through them. If you don't have boundaries, you won't have relationships. You ever seen them people ain't got no friends? I tell the singles, listen, if you meet a person and they ain't got no childhood friends, none, deuces. Like fences or borders, healthy boundaries define what is acceptable for a person and give them safety and control over their life. They may look different for each person. Yes, my boundaries may be very different from yours. People be like, how you have people at your house? Da, da, da. I wouldn't want all them people at my house. My boundaries have to be different from yours because I allow God to set my boundaries. Sometimes it is uncomfortable for me, but if I allow God to set my boundaries, he's going to keep peace at those boundaries. Okay? They may look different for each person as everyone has different needs and comfort levels. One situation, type of relationship, and social context shape how a person sets boundaries. So your life is going to determine. What you've been through is going to determine how you set boundaries. The sad part about that is a lot of us will set boundaries according to our past hurts. Because ain't nobody going to hurt me like that again. What type of mentality is that? A victim mentality. That's not a strong man. That's a victim mentality when you have a boundary because ain't nobody going to do this to me again. Okay? This session will explore boundaries, why they are essential, and how a person can set them in different types of relationships like work and romantic relationships. I should have said church, but you know. So what are boundaries? Ignoring your boundaries is betraying yourself. It's betraying who? Boundaries are limits or guidelines a person sets within their relationships that define what is safe, acceptable, and reasonable ways other people can behave around them. Which means my boundaries aren't just about what you do to me, it is about what you do around me. If I don't like a bunch of cussing and carrying on around me, that's my boundary, so I'm not going to let you do it. Now, some people get over spiritual, you know. Listen, I feel like you can't clean the fish till you catch them. We trying to clean fish, and we ain't even got them. They out in the water swimming. We got to get a hook before we could try to clean them. And here you are, because they out there swimming and cussing and carrying on. You like, I can't be around people like that. Then how will you ever try to clean them if you don't hook them? In order to get fish, you got to go where fish are. The Word of God says that you will be going into the hedges and the highways, not the cathedrals and sanctuaries. It also defines how they will respond when a person crosses a line. When you do this, then I will. There's no need to set boundaries if you ain't going to do nothing if they cross them. You just make yourself look weak. I set boundaries not to offend you, but to respect myself. My boundaries ain't to make you mad. My boundaries ain't to tick you off. My boundaries are to protect me. And if you care about me, you would always want me to protect me. Who do you set boundaries with? Because boundaries are a function of self-respect and self-love. Can y'all think about, before we talked about these boundaries, you really never thought about boundaries, right? But boundaries are of a function of self-respect and self-love. Can you look back and see how previously in life you weren't loving and showing respect to yourself because you ain't had no boundaries? Thank God for new light, right? You should set boundaries with everyone they relate to, including your friends, your family, your romantic partner, workmates or colleagues, acquaintances, and strangers. That means everyone I come in contact with should have to abide by my boundaries or have my presence no more. You don't have to abide by them, but you don't have to be in my presence. I say you can call me whatever you want to call me as long as you call me from across the street. You're not going to be in my area and talk to me any kind of way. You can't stop them from talking. But they keep saying, and they keep saying, so what? That's their mouth. That is so childish to want to control somebody else's mouth. That's very childish. Who cares what they say? They just don't deserve your presence anymore. Daring to set boundaries is about having the courage, somebody say courage, having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. You got to have the courage to love you even if it makes somebody else mad. A person with healthy boundaries communicates their needs and wants. Now, remember in the homework video, she said that you have to communicate clumsily, clunky communication. What does that mean? I don't always have the right words to say, but I'm going to say something. And I'm going to talk and talk until I can communicate to you what I'm really feeling. The problem with us is when we don't know what to say or how to say, we shut down. And so when you shut down on the other people, that is a hurt. You may not understand how to get it out, but you need to start talking until you get it out. Because if the shoe was on the other foot and you needed to have something from that person, you would want them to talk clunky until they got it out. You will not learn how to effectively communicate until you communicate. I don't know how to say that. Okay, you don't know how to say it because you don't say nothing. The more you communicate, the better you get at it. I promise. I promise you. It's kind of like we talked about speaking in tongues, and people be like, when I'm going to get my next syllable? The more you speak, the more you'll get. The problem is, this is what the devil do. I got to tell you a secret. What he does is he says, look at you, you can't even do nothing but you can't, and you should be like, you can't even blah, blah, blah. You see, if he begins to joke you about not being able to flow in tongues, it is because he doesn't want you to continue to speak in tongues because you will get better and flow. Yeah. He'll tell you you're faking. Because here's the thing. If he tells you you're faking and you stop the utterance, God does not force you to speak in tongues. You have to give it sound. You have free will. Tongues will come up, but if you refuse to give it sound, it won't come out. So if the devil intimidates you about your tongues, if he's telling you faking, that's you, that's not God. Guess what? It is me. You right, Satan. It's my mouth. And guess what? It's my language. Tongues are my language. I don't care how it sounds to you. It sounds like music to God. Guess what else it sounds like to God? It's so important. My tongues sounds like faith to God. You got to have faith to speak in tongues. So you are automatically pleasing him when you exercise faith. Okay. The word says, for without faith, it is impossible to please God. Right? So that means with faith, I'm pleasing him. When I speak, it takes faith. So when I speak in tongues, my faith is activated and he's excited because he sees my faith in action. Don't come up here. Don't come up here. Don't come up here. Write it down. Write it down. He sees my faith in action. Now, do you know how hard that was for me to do that? Because if she has a question, I want to make sure she gets her answer. So you write it down. Don't you tell me you forgot later. I set a boundary, but I gave an alternative. So I didn't just shut it down. I said, give me a minute. Okay? All right? Thank you, Deaconess. A person with healthy boundaries, when I have healthy boundaries, I communicate what I need and what I want. Now, sadly, majority of us in this room cannot do that. We cannot communicate what we need or what we want. Listen, the Bible says we can't. The Bible says you don't even know what to pray for. Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. That's what the words say. So therefore, the Spirit groans in intercession for you. Right? Okay, well, good thing is God can hear those groans. We can't. So in order for you to have a healthy relationship with us, you have to communicate with us. Listen, anyone you don't communicate with, you cannot have a healthy, loving relationship with. I don't care if it's your mama, your daddy, your grandmama, granddaddy, your sister, your brother, your man, your girl. Whoever you don't communicate with, you cannot have a good relationship with. The relationship is always in a strained position because nobody knows what the other really needs or wants. Okay. When you have healthy boundaries, you value your own opinion. You value your own opinion. Now, I ain't no idiot. I will ask for suggestions or run stuff by. I will get wise counsel. However, I do value what I think about it. The Bible says a fool is wise in his own eyes. A healthy person does not compromise on their values, can say no to others, and accepts other people's limits. So not only can I say no, I can accept a no. Because here's the problem. I need you to see the correlation here. Usually a person who struggles to say no struggles to hear it. So you don't want to make the person feel like you feel when somebody say no to you. Boundaries are also affected by the environment, social context, and culture. Yes, Lord, because this culture is changing constantly, and a lot of things is okay that wouldn't have never been okay in my day. Do I trust God enough to make boundaries? So why are the boundaries important? Having unhealthy boundaries can cause people to lose their sense of identity and make them feel unsafe and vulnerable as their needs are left unmet. Anyone who does not have boundaries and you're in a relationship, you are going to feel like you're not getting the best end of the stick. And not because the person doesn't want to love you, but because you have not communicated your boundaries and what you need. Now, here's the thing. Once you communicate your boundaries and what you need, you cannot expect that person to say okay and do it. But you have to love yourself enough to say, I won't settle. Usually people won't do it for one of two reasons. One would be they don't care enough about you to do it. So they're showing you they don't love you enough to change anything or give you what you need. Number two is they don't know how to. But here's the thing. If they don't know how to, that's where what comes in? Communication. We talk through it. We work through it. Don't shut down on people you love when they're asking you for something because you're like, I don't know. I don't know how to do that. That ain't me. No. When you love people, you will love them the way they need to be loved in order for them to feel it. I know you want quality time, but I'm just going to touch you. That's a part of love. How are you going to make somebody accept the love? I'm just going to give you affirmations. I ain't buying you no gifts. You understand? You cannot say, well, I know that you need words of affirmation, but my love language is quality time. So that's all I know. That means I don't love you enough to learn yours. That is a very selfish person. And depending on how deep they go there, that is a very narcissistic person. Because if they can communicate to you what they need, but refuse to learn what you need, that's the definition of a narcissist. You better run real fast. A narcissist could care less about making people around them happy. It's all about what makes them happy. This can lead to unstable and dysfunctional relationships. Remember, relationship is friendship, siblingship, parent-childship, all the ships. All the ships. Okay? You will have an unstable relationship, a dysfunctional relationship if you don't have boundaries set. If you're not able to communicate and tell each other what you need, what you desire. Setting boundaries is a way of caring for myself. It doesn't make me mean, selfish, or uncaring because I don't do things your way. I care about me too. Yeah, I care about you, but I also care about me. The Me Too movement. You too? Yes, me too. I care about me too. All right? Some signs that a person needs to build healthy boundaries include being dependent on other people's opinions. You need to set some boundaries. If you're always worried about what everybody else got to say. Difficulty saying no to others' requests. Fear of getting rejected. Accepting disrespect or abuse. Becoming over-involved in other people's problems. Oversharing information. Trouble accepting no from others. Compromising one's opinions or values for others. Keeping others at a distance. Keeping others at a distance. Keeping others at a isolation, distance, and avoiding intimacy. Feeling responsible for other people's happiness. Feeling powerless and having a weak sense of self also mean that a person's boundaries are unhealthy. How many of these characteristics fit somebody in here? Yeah. Can't do questions. Right? They fit, right? Most of us got at least 3 of them up there. If not all. Okay? So we're going to talk about 8 ways to set your boundaries. Boundaries act like a fence to protect the guardian that is your life. My boundaries protect my life. Here are some tips from the Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance on setting boundaries. Anybody need tips on how to set your boundaries? Let's go. Number 1, practice self-awareness. Practice self-awareness. There are 3 categories of self-awareness. What am I feeling? What am I doing? And what am I thinking? That is self-awareness. You must ask yourself those 3 questions. What am I feeling? What am I doing? What am I thinking? Rob, you put this crazy spin in my stuff. Y'all see this craziness? Processing and acknowledging what is essential for a person's well-being can help them identify which parts of their life require boundaries. You have to process and acknowledge what areas. A person must know what makes them feel safe and comfortable. You got to know that. Can't nobody know that for you. You have to know what makes you feel safe and comfortable. Problem is, most of us don't know. Sadly, a lot of us say, I would feel safe and comfortable if all my bills was paid and we had food in the refrigerator and everybody in the house safe. That's such a broad. What makes you feel safe? I remember the first time I went to therapy and actually listened. Because the Army made me go to therapy. I ain't listen. I ain't get nothing out of that. But when I finally went to therapy and I actually listened, she said, Michelle, what do you do to make you happy? And I looked, because that's a question that just stunned me. Will it stun you? What do you do to make you happy? I said, live. Live. Enjoy life. No. What things do you do to make sure you're happy? Okay, well, and I couldn't think. I couldn't answer that. I really couldn't answer that. And she said, okay, Michelle, what would need to be in place for you to feel happy right now? I said, overall, just happy. All my bills paid. I got food in my fridge. And all my assignments, because I was in college, all my assignments are caught up. I'd be happy. She said, that's just living. That's not happiness. I was calling just living happiness. So she gave me an assignment. And if you like, you can take the assignment that she gave me and do it for you. She said, Michelle, I want you for the next 7 days. I went every week. For the next 7 days, I want you to take a sheet of paper. And I want you to write down everything you do to make somebody else happy. And then on the back side, I want you to write down what you do to make you happy. Well, lo and behold, by the time I went back that next week, I had like 5 sheets of what I do to make other people happy. I had like 3 lines for me. Because we identify ourselves by what we're able to do for other people. We look at being successful when we're able to make other people happy. But it's actually successful when you can make yourself happy. That's success. Sadly, most of us are waiting for somebody that walks in and make us happy. Givers need to set boundaries because takers don't know how to. So you have to name your limit. Name your limits. Because a giver gonna keep giving, but a taker Just gonna keep taking. Knowing what a person needs or wants physically and emotionally can help set the appropriate boundaries to accomplish them. Writing them down or making a boundary circle can clarify where a person wants to draw the line between themselves and others. Now, this is something that I really suggest all the time, especially with married couples, because a lot of times when we're talking to each other, we're talking, but we're talking and we're not listening to what say it. We're listening to respond. We're listening for the break so I can tell you what I think, which means I'm really not paying attention to what you're saying. I'm just waiting for your silence so I can put in what I think. Terrible relationship. That is a terrible relationship. It's a terrible relationship. I can't even, man. He said, that's my job, to make sure she's happier today than she was yesterday. That's a good relationship. And she's trying to make sure that he's happier today than he was yesterday. See, God makes us first for each other for a reason. That's why your spouse comes before your kids. Your kids don't get to be number one until they get their own spouse. But your spouse, you're supposed to be number one to each other. So I'm not number one in my life. You are. And you're not number one in your life. I am. And when we're truly first in each other's life, we're going to try to please each other to our best ability. Okay? That's a good marriage. In a boundary circle, people can list everything they need to feel supported, safe, and stress-free. Listen, she said it on the homework. Mind reading is not a gift of the Spirit. So therefore, you have to be able to communicate to each other what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel supported, what makes you feel stress-free. Listen. You ain't never got to give me no words of affirmation, right? Just in my love language. You ain't never got to give me no words of affirmation, but you help me to complete a task that I got to do, I feel loved. So then, how is he going to love me by telling me, oh, you're beautiful, oh, you're so smart, but he ain't getting up to help me wash the dish? I'll be like, you can keep them words, get in here and wash these dishes. You thought you love me, wash these dishes. Right? It sounds so simple, but truly that's the way it is. You cannot love people the way you want to love them. You got to love them enough to realize what they need to feel loved. Boundaries are your responsibility. You decide what is and isn't allowed in your life. So, outside of the circle, they can list anything that conflicts with these outside the circle. This can include things that cause annoyance, discomfort, or pain. So just like you're able to write down what it is you need, you should be able to write down what it is that causes these problems. Because I might not know that it annoys you when I leave the top off the toothpaste. So every time I go in the bathroom and its toothpaste is just open and the air getting in it, it's just irking my nerves. Right? You would never know that unless I told you. That's why you got to communicate. That's why you got something that small can make me have a bad morning. And then you trying to get a kiss before you go out the door and I'm like, bye. And what I do? You left the top off the toothpaste. But that, you ain't going to say nothing because you're going to say, what I do? Nothing. Nothing. That's a bad relationship. You have to be able to communicate. Also, anything that creates guilt because it goes against a person's belief or value. Why are you in that church all the time? That's against my beliefs. You're coming against my values. When you come against my schedule for God, you coming against a major value. And pushes a person to their limit. You need to be able to let them know your boundaries, what's going to tick you off, what's going to push you to the hit. This, babe, you do this, I'm going to pop off. That way you love each other enough not to cross that boundary and make each other pop off. But if I don't know that that's going to pop you off when I leave the toothpaste open. Also, whatever makes a person feel vulnerable. When I tell you what's going on with me and you don't have any response, it makes me feel very vulnerable that I could share with you what's really going on with me and you don't have nothing to say about it. It makes me feel so vulnerable. Like I just opened up and I left myself open. And for what? Nothing. You got nothing to say. For a person to share their innermost feelings and you have no response says, I really don't care what you just said. I'm going to say that again. For a person to share their innermost feelings and you have no response at all, you're asking to kill that relationship. Because that person will never feel vulnerable or never want to be vulnerable with you. Because they're just going to get shut down. It takes a lot to open up and tell your innermost feelings. So if you don't say nothing but, baby, thanks for sharing, you got to say something. Something. You know, listen, sometimes it's not that they're looking for answers. They're just looking for you care. You care enough to really hear the words I said, because if you have nothing to say, that might mean I just was completely opening myself up and you ain't paying me no mind. And of course, that's what the devil gonna tell them, ain't it? Devil ain't gonna tell them you just processing. But you can tell them. You can say, I really don't know what to say right now. Let me process this. At least the person don't feel like you just shut down on them. Let me process this. Can I process what you just said and we talk about this again tomorrow? And you really talk about it tomorrow? Then the person at least feels heard and cared about. Just saying, if you want to have a good relationship. Number 3, we'll finish the next 5 next week. All five. Set them early. When people set boundaries with you, it's their attempt to continue the relationship with you. It is not an attempt to hurt you. Do y'all see that? If they don't want to set no boundaries with you, that means they don't have no future with you in mind. So when a person sets boundaries with you, it is because it is important to them that this relationship continues. So I want to set this relationship up for success. No boundaries mean you're going to hurt me even unintentionally. I don't want to have to deal with that. You know, one thing, I'm not sure how other singles feel, but one thing about being single right now that I look forward to when it comes to my relationship is it'll be something new without a history report of hurt. You know? I don't want to circle the block, because when you circle the block, all that hurt comes right back in. I am excited to start something new and fresh with no previous hurt. So that means it's going to be important to me to make sure that unnecessary hurt doesn't happen, which means I'm going to try to set up my boundaries immediately because I'm looking for a future. If I'm not looking for no future, I ain't going to set no boundaries because I don't care. Bye. Right? But if I'm communicating with you and trying to set boundaries, it is because I'm trying to set us up for success. Because it takes communication to succeed. So set your boundaries early. It is easier to set boundaries early in a relationship so people know each other's limits and expectations. Don't wait to get down the line and say, you know, when you do this, it really upsets me. No, you should set those boundaries in the beginning. Don't let all the hurt build up till you can't take it no more and then say it, because it's not even going to come out nice. You always. No, the first time I did it, you should have let me know that crossed the boundary for you. So then I could have showed you how much I love you by never doing that again. It's a setup for success. Okay? Girl, you know, I told him that when he did this, it hurt me. Do you know it's been 3 months and he never did it again? That man loved me. That man loved me. Don't it make you feel love when they honor your boundaries? But they can't honor what you don't share. This also avoids frustrations, confusions, and hurt along the way. So we need to set our boundaries when? Early. Next week, we will start with, we have to express them. Express them. All right, questions?
Good evening, Apostle.
Good evening.
So, when it comes to setting boundaries, what is the best way to maneuver when it's family and it's damned if you do, damned if you don't? What I mean by that is you set the boundaries, then you're the devil in the family for setting the boundary. So then you kind of alter the boundary to kind of appease the family. You're
still going to be the devil.
Still the devil. So then it's like, all right, whatever. So then you back off completely for your own peace. Then it's an issue because you backed off completely.
It's not an issue.
Okay.
If
it's
you back off for your own peace, you have done what you're supposed to do.
Right, but then
their issue ain't your issue.
But then they try to back door through my wife and the kids.
You set the boundaries.
Okay.
You set the boundaries, and you and your wife come in agreement with the boundaries. Mm. Listen, I'm a firm believer in right division, make it plain. Mm. I don't care if it's your parents. This is what we would like in our relationship with you. This is what we cannot accept in our relationship with you. If you want to have a relationship with your grandkids, this is what we require. If you're not willing to do that, if you don't love us enough to adhere to what we're asking, because it's not too much to ask for, then it's going to be hard for us to allow y'all to have a relationship with them.
Say less.
Because if you cross our boundaries, you will cross my child's boundaries.
Yep.
You'll cross my child's boundaries. So that's the thing with family. You got to realize if you let them do it to you, then you're automatically saying it's okay for them to do it to your kids. Okay? And that's setting your kids up for failure. Okay? And when you back off for your piece, I could give a hill of beans about what they got to say. Listen, 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 listen. I I went home. I drove home crying one day. I was crying, and I just, family is so important to me, so important to me. And whatever is so valuable to you is what the enemy will always use against you. Okay, because he knows where to hit you. People on the street, they can't hit me, man. They can say whatever they want to say. Pfft, I don't care. I really don't care. But when it comes to family, it will get to me. And so, had a little situation with a family member, and I was like, God, I just want them to love me. I love them, and I'm always there for them. Why can't they just love me for who I am? Not anyone in my house, a family member outside of my house. And God said to me so clearly, let me tell y'all. He said to me so clearly. He said, Michelle, you have a choice. He said, you can give them your money and let them talk about you, or you can keep your money and let them talk about you. But there is a clause. If you give them the blessings I gave you, it would be considered giving my pearls to the swine. And so my answer from then on to family members was, if you want the blessings that God gave me, you need to serve the same God. Either you're going to love me for who I am or not love me at all. I said, I'm not paying for nobody to love me. I'm not getting this fixed for you and doing that for you and doing that just for you to love. You should love me because of who I am, not because of what I do for you. And so my answer is nope, 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 nope. And I got my peace. And they still talking about me. I don't care. God bless them. Keep them real good.
My question come off one of the slides about the when you're trying to set boundaries and saying it's like selfishness. I have how do you can tell like if you being I'm setting this boundary or I'm just being selfish like.
Well, if you know that you're a selfish person, you really have to evaluate it. The Bible says to seek wise counsel. So why not use that? If you think it's a possibility of you just being selfish, then seek wise counsel.
So if I told somebody, I'm just going, my friend is trying to come down here and get her stuff, and I say, you can't keep, telling me, showing me, emailing me, you got texting me, you got a bus ticket, you don't know what I got going on, you expect me to be there, but then she get frustrated. So now this Saturday she's supposed to be coming, I'm like, oh God, Pastoria, help if I don't go help her. And I'm like, well, I mean my job. But then I'm like, now I feel like I'm being just selfish. Or is
that's not being selfish. I think that is a boundary with you tried to set a boundary. Now it's up to you to enforce the boundary. Your boundary you tried to set was you can't just tell me when you're coming. You have to let me know ahead of time so that I can try to help you. Now, it is a twofold here because this situation has been weighing and weighing and weighing on you for a minute. In order to get rid of some stress sometimes, I just got to bite that bullet and say, you know what? I'll be there, get you your stuff, because then you ain't got to call me about this no more. Seek peace, pursue it. But you can establish a time that you're going to be there.
Sherry brought the ticket.
Huh?
Sherry brought the ticket.
But you can establish a time that you will be there. I can help you at this time.
No, she want me to help me when she get here.
I can help you at this time. I won't be available and to help you until. That's not selfish.
I don't want to help.
That's a whole nother other. However, you say you don't want to help, but helping will stop this issue from cycling. So you do want to help her. Help her get that stuff and go. Y'all, that's a special woman right there. Regina's a special woman.
Okay, so
But she good, though, because she could take me, rebuke her all day long. And she don't fuss me out till she get in the car.
so for a second I thought it was a stupid question, but I thought speaking in tongues was like a gift. I was
It
told
is.
it was a gift.
It is.
But the way how I thought of it, like, okay, God gifted them, like, that's what. I didn't know you had to practice it. Like,
Faith is a gift. I didn't tell you to practice it.
Oh.
I just said the more you do it, the better you're going to get. That's anything you do.
Oh, okay. I just looked at it.
If you
wrong.
just singing, if you just singing in the service every Sunday, not on the praise team, but just singing, you're going to get better with the songs. So anything you do repetitively, you get better at it.
Oh, okay.
So you don't shut down on it when it's not flowing. You say, you know what, I'm going to blah, black sheep, have you in the wool until the rest come out.
Okay. Amen.
At least I'm ba. I got enough faith for ba. God, give me some more faith for ba.
Okay. All right. So I had a question. I have 4 questions. So with my sister, I've been setting my boundaries with her. Try not to talk to her as much and stuff like that. Now she has this thing where she likes to refer to my mother as like the devil or a demon. And I've told her a couple times not to do it. And she doesn't really do it over the phone, but sometimes she texts me and she'll do that. And she did that like last week. And I was like, I told you not to do this. Okay, so when she texts me and she's like, referring to my mom, blah, 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 how do I set that boundary when she's texting me?
I would do a copy and paste. You know what I'm saying? I would do a copy and paste of, you are crossing my boundaries when you refer to my mother as such. I need you to keep in mind that our mother was not perfect, but she did it and run down everything that your mom did. And you will honor her as such in my presence. And cut and paste it. So every time she do it, put it up there. And then I wouldn't respond to her for like at least a couple days.
Yeah.
Because she'll understand, if you do that, I'm not going to talk to you.
Yeah. She's been getting a lot of non-responses as of late.
But don't just non-response. You have to tell her why.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying, that's why I'm like cut and paste. You have it already saved on your clipboard. So as soon as you do it, be like, I won't be talking, put everything. Therefore, until you can respect my boundaries, we won't be talking.
Okay.
So that way, it's not she thinking you just got too busy to call back, or you got an attitude about something else. You have to put it where it is.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you. All right. So sometimes when I'm in worship, whatever, then
Somebody who?
when I'm in worship, then I feel the whatever, and then I like sing like Jesus or whatever, and then it comes out usually. But then, what do you do when it's shouting? I know like the stompy thing, but I feel like I'm not getting the shout out, but I feel
You're not getting the who?
the shout out because I feel like when you feel the bubbling in your spirit, the shout. The shout.
Oh, okay. Well, shouting ain't supposed to be stumping. That AFC stomp. AFC got aggression issues. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. The art of shouting is picking it up, not putting it down. What I mean is, you're not concentrating on the feet going down. You're trying to lift up God. So it's about the feet coming up, not going down.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna practice that on it. Thank you. All right. So.
And it's about the pride thing too,
Yeah.
because when you don't know how to, you start being like, I can't.
Yeah.
So I mean that's how I was. So I just started saying, you know what, I'm gonna do a 2-step then. Hey.
Yeah.
But when you start moving, then the spirit will take over. But you got to move something.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Up. Moving. Got it. So how do you? Because I feel like I'm learning how to set boundaries and like communicate what I need, whatever. But I just feel like right now, I feel like I be needing a lot. And I don't want to be that person.
No, you don't.
So I don't want to be like whiny and like I don't want people to feel like they got to be like eggshells around me. So I'm trying to learn how to communicate what I need without being like,
Oh, see, hold up. Because you just said people around you.
yeah.
Okay, so people around you is not so much about what you need. It's about what's acceptable. It is not the people's job around you to give you what you need.
Okay.
But you have to respect my boundaries, meaning I will not accept you cursing or calling my mom a demon, or you know what I'm saying? I won't. That's what the word you're using was. I don't want to feel needy. That seems like it's a more one-to-one relationship. Is that what we're talking about?
No, I'm talking about like people like my circle. You know what I mean? Like the people in my circle, I feel like I've been noticing different ways where I don't feel respected, and I don't know. So I'm trying to work through how to communicate
You don't work through.
that.
You don't work through it. You communicate what it is that you need. What it is you need to feel respected. And if they won't listen to it, then you cut them off.
Okay.
Because to not demand respect for yourself is self-betrayal. It's self-betrayal. A lot of people will purposely not adhere to your boundaries because they can benefit when you don't have them. So then they are going to keep on ignoring your boundaries because they benefit from ignoring your boundaries. But that means they don't respect you as a person. And anybody that doesn't respect you as a person shouldn't have time in your life.
Okay, period. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So my question was about not establishing your boundaries off your past hurts. That right there, I'm a little confuzzled because I thought that we set boundaries so certain things don't happen to us again.
Okay.
So maybe it's not registering how it's supposed to be.
Okay. All right. So let's say you had a issue with your mom not being there for you when you needed her. Okay. And then you come to this ministry and you see me as your spiritual mom. And you call me and say you need help, and I just can't get there right now. So now I've crossed your boundary that was already fixed from your hurt with your mom. You're not respecting the fact that I really just can't come to you right now. But you're taking it, you're punishing me as if I'm just like your mom. You understand? Which happens a lot. A lot of y'all punish me for whatever issues y'all have with your moms. You know? So it's projecting.
So just make sure the boundaries that I set. So I can set boundaries like I won't put myself in the position to be let down in this, to be treated in this way.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. But what I'm saying is you can't, okay, you start dating this guy and he always late, don't never show up, always, not dependable.
Right.
But then he deuces, and then you get this other guy. He's been a pretty good guy, but then something comes up and he's not going to be able to make the date tonight. And now you're ready to break up with him because of what the other guy did.
Okay.
Now, my boundaries is you can't be canceling on my date. Okay, he really had something else going on. You can't just punish him because of what the other guy did.
Person did, right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Any other questions concerning tonight's lesson? All right. Announcements. While she's coming up, I have to order some AFC name badges. They're $7. I have to order it tonight. So if you need one or two, get with Alicia, Minister Alicia, right after service. I'm ordering them tonight because I gotta have them here for next Sunday. I'm ordering them tonight. Now, if you don't have your money but you need to order it, still get with her and then have that money by the time they come. Okay?
Real quick before I give announcements. Based off of what you just said to her, isn't that just making sure I'm right, is that when you're making your boundaries, why you need to have a clear heart when you're making them so it doesn't attach to.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Yes.
There you go.
Because if my heart is still attached to the hurt, the previous hurt, then my heart is going to make boundaries according to that hurt, not according to my relationship. You know, that's why you have to truly forgive everybody. You have to let stuff go. Otherwise, it begins to take play in your next relationship.
All right. AFC announcements. Was that loud? Was it loud?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me breathe. Okay. Pastoral Help Day is this Saturday, April 26th at 9 a.m. See Sister Shantae for details. Outreach is also on Saturday at 12 p.m. You can see Sister Allison for details. Pound is due this Sunday, April 27th. See Mother Carrie or Sister Shantae for details. Men's Ministry will be having a paintball outing on May 3rd. The cost is $30. Please RSVP by this Friday, April 25th. See Deacon Charles for sign up. Youth Sunday is this Sunday, April 27th. The theme is graphic tees. See Youth Leader Jalea if you have any questions. This Monday, April 28th, will be Youth Ministry. See your Youth Leader Jalea for details. AFC will be having a baptism on Sunday, May 18th. If you would like to be baptized or have a christening, please see Deaconess Tiffany for sign up. And that's it for this for announcements.
Another quick announcement. We do have an ordination coming up. Realize that on Ordination Sunday, it is clergy attire, black suits. So all leaders are expected to be in your suits on Ordination Sunday. And also on the 18th, we have a special treat on Baptism Sunday. Apostle Despina will be bringing the word. Amen.